All right, round 3 of me trying to film this very hard video. Thank you guys for coming back to my channel. Always feel so blessed that you guys want to come back and listen to what I have to say. I really appreciate it. Today is a kind of gloomy day. I'm not feeling very well, and so this is just me wanting to sit down and talk to you all about a subject that I've promised, something that's I knew was going to be completely and utterly hard for me to film and talk about, because this is the first time that I've talked to basically the world about this, not just like my family or my fiance or close friends. Like, this is something that is very near and dear, and I'm feeling a little bit vulnerable. But we'll get through it, because it's very important for me that I talk to you all about it, because when I talk about myself and my brand, a huge part of my brand is mental illness and mental health and changing the stigma behind it, and letting people know that they're not alone with however they're feeling in that area. There are thousands and billions of people in this world who deal with mental health and mental illness on a high scale, low scale, middle scale, but they deal with it in any way, shape, or form, and not a lot of people are wanting to talk about it. Hopefully this will impact someone's life as they watch this, and help start that process of recovery and survival, and help start the journey through getting better. If you like videos like this, please give it a thumbs up and let me know what you think in the comments. I do read your comments, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time out to, write some things down and just give me some feedback. That's always great. So yeah, I'm gonna jump into this video. Again, subscribe, like, thumbs up, all of that fun stuff. And yeah, so for me, mental illness has not always been an issue. And people would think like, oh, like, you have this great life, like you have no issues, or you have a great family and all this stuff. And that's 100% true. I have a great family. I have a great life. I am blessed beyond measures. But when there are times when I don't understand why I'm getting so strung out or caught up in like the smallest things, that kind of can make things worse. When I think about, why are you stressed at all? My anxiety kind of rocketed when I was in this relationship that wasn't that great. I was, dealing with the fact that I was leaving home and going to school, even though I wasn't that far away. I was dealing with the pressures of, being a D1 athlete, which I'll get into even a little bit more, but like, it's just small things that kind of build up to be bigger things. And then that's kind of when I realized, like, these are small things to me. Why am I stressing out? Why do I have anxiety over these things if they're small? But I like to say that my mountains may not be as high or as treacherous as someone else's mountains, but they're still my mountains and they're still my battles. So yes, there is always someone that has it worse than me. There's always going to be someone worse, someone who just has more, like, bigger struggles than I do. But that doesn't negate or lessen my own struggles. And that's what I like to tell people who are like, oh, but it's like, it's a dumb issue. Like, it's da-da-da. But if you're really struggling over it, that doesn't mean that it's not something that's tough for you just because someone else has it worse off. I hope that makes sense. But that's kind of like my saying. Growing up as well, just as a kid, I always wanted to feel included, and I always thought about what people thought about me, and so that all kind of built up. And then just like throughout, I had 5 concussions in the past 5 years. But concussions really, like, physically can do something to your head. If you do some research, like, there's a lot of things that can happen, which is why it's being taken so seriously nowadays. And so I have no doubt in my mind that my 5 concussions has really affected me, and my anxiety and my stress levels. I get super anxious over the smallest things possible. I could be out for hours and hours and go to many different functions and just do this, living life, having fun, and nothing be wrong. Go home at the end of the day and just go to sleep and, enjoy my night, and have enjoyed my night. But I noticed that on my graduation day, I woke up and I had went to graduation, and I was sitting in the sun, surrounded by dozens of people, thousands of people. And then after graduation, after I crossed the stage, I had to see all my family, and I have such a big supportive family, and they were all there, and I'm taking pictures, and I'm enjoying my time. And then I go back to my apartment at school, and we had to check out that day. So there's my family is in there, my roommate's family's in there, so there's like a ton of people in this tiny 2-bedroom apartment. And then we go. I have a graduation party. And there's my whole entire family at my graduation party. And then we go to Charlotte. So where I went to school was in Burlington. It's about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours from Charlotte. So then after the graduation party in Burlington, we drive back to Charlotte. And my graduation was during playoffs. So we usually have watch parties at my family house. And so we went back to the house. There was like 80 plus people at this watch party for the Warriors. And I was supposed to, so I'm with my family, we're all having fun watching the game, and I was supposed to go out to celebrate my graduation with all my friends after the game was over. And at some point during that during the watch party, I found myself in my backyard crying because I was just so overwhelmed. And not like I was overwhelmed, yes, throughout the day, because I was like, with all the love and support that my family, with all the love and support that my family has shown me throughout that day, and showing up and, you know, being there for me on one of the biggest days of my life. But I was overwhelmed with just the amount of activity that was going on, and I could not handle it. Like, I'm sitting in my backyard on the stairs, like, crying because the thought of having to go somewhere to go out that night with my friends who I love dearly just scared the crap out of me. And I knew I wouldn't be able to handle it. And that's when I realized, like, I'm not the same person that I was before. I actually have a problem. And I have a therapist, or a counselor. She's great. She lives back in North Carolina, so I haven't found anybody out here that, you know, that I could go talk to. But I was doing well when I was with her, and whenever I would go see her, like, it was fine. But, you know, it's tough. It's tough, first of all, being able to trust someone, and so, like, that's the struggle of having to find someone right now to talk to, because you have to really build that trust again. But I miss that. I miss being able to go in and talk to someone. She was on my campus, so it was great going to talk to her and everything. But I don't know. I just feel like mental illness and mental health is something to not ignore. It's not something that you can just, you know, go through life without addressing. If it's affecting you in your daily living, go speak to somebody. Go get some help. I'm not saying you need to go get medication. I'm not on medication. I don't medicate because just for personal reasons, I just don't feel like I should, at least at this point. And there are some days where I'm like, okay, no, I need medication. Like, I can't take this. I can't live like this. But then I just kind of come around and I'm like, no, I don't need medication. I just need to focus on myself. I need to breathe. Like, breathing helps me so much. I dive into, like, my faith is a big part of you know, my journey and getting through all of this. I rely heavily on my family and friends, my fiance, which is hard sometimes, especially because it can affect your relationships. There are some days, like, just like, I'm just gonna be really transparent with you all. Some days, like, Damien is so great with, like, how he deals with me, and he tries so hard, and he's so loving and supportive. And there are days where, like, I'm so mean to him, and I don't know why. Like, this might be a little bit too much information, but, like, when you're dealing with that, like, you just can't help it. And I feel so bad afterwards, after I've calmed down and after everything is okay. Like, I feel so bad because I know he tries so hard, and it's really hard to, you know, relate to something that he doesn't really understand, or it's really hard to, like, some days I want him to be, like, you know, very caring and very, like, hands-on, and some days I don't want him, I don't want anything to do with anything or anybody. So it's really hard, and I try really hard, you know, just to keep my my life, or keep my anxiety and stress and everything like that intact, so that I'm not affecting my relationships and my family. So I'm not perfect. Sometimes I'm going to fail, but it's really nice for me to have that support system. And I know that a lot of people don't have that support system, and that's why I think that it's really important, to seek professional help, because that's their profession and that's what they're trained at and that's what they love doing. Like, if you're going to be in that profession, you have to be passionate about helping people. You have to be passionate about being a support system for someone who may not have that support system at home. So if you're watching this and you've been contemplating going to talk to somebody or whatever, I would say go, 100% go. Go just speak to somebody about how you're feeling. If it's small, little, big, whatever. I don't care what it is. Just go speak to someone. Tell them how you're feeling, why you feel this way. Just lay it all on them, because I promise, it will be worth it. It will be worth it. I know this video is all over the place, and editing this is going to be SYDEL, what are you talking about? But this is as best right now that I can explain it to you. I hope that whoever's watching this and you're feeling the same way, you're not feeling alone. You're feeling very encouraged that hey, I feel these ways sometimes, but I'm going to get through it. I deal with these things, but I live a very happy life. I'm not saying just because you have depression, anxiety, whatever other mental illness that you're dealing with, you can get through it. It's a journey. That's why the title of this is going to be My Mental Health Journey, because there's never going to be an ending point. It's just learning ways to address these issues, whether that's meditation, prayer, breathing, talking to someone, medication. There are ways to overcome this thing. And yes, you're going to have great days. Yes, you're going to have horrible days, but you're not alone. If that's one thing that I want to come across in this video, is that you are not alone. There are a billion other people in this world who are dealing with the same things. And if we all come together and we all talk about it openly and not be ashamed of it, we all will be better people, not just for ourselves, but for each other. Now I'm done preaching. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or anything, leave them below in the comments. I'm going to try to really, respond back, especially on this subject, because it's a really important subject. And if you don't have anyone to talk to, just know that I'm here to talk to you. Thank you again for watching. Hope you all have a really blessed and beautiful day, whenever day you're watching this, and I will see you all in my next video.